thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out. Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Hey everybody, that would be me, Travis Bridges, your host for The Swimming Pool in 3, 2, 1. Here's hoping you are having a great Wednesday evening. I've got a good one for you. That's what Steve Harvey says, and I kind of like it. I'm not copying him. I just like it. And there's nothing new under the sun. So don't tell me I'm biting nothing, because I'm not biting anything. All right. So anyway, I have a guest that's going to come on a little later on. But it's just going to be you and me for the first few minutes, and I'm gonna get some jam going on so that we can kick this thing off, right? Want to say hello to some special fine folks down in my home tizzy, the LBG. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I know you're watching, and here's some hugs and kisses to you. I really appreciate it. Tonight we're gonna be talking about the old you. We're gonna talk about good and evil. We're gonna talk about... What are we going to talk about? Yeah, well, I'll tell you later. How about that? By chance, if you'd like to talk to me, I'd love to talk with you. Travis Bridges 2 is how you can send me a message. Now, this is how that works. If you have a subject or a topic that you'd like for me to chat about, all you have to do is just send it to me and say, hey, I want to talk to you about it. Or you say, hey, talk about this and give me your thoughts, views, and comments. So why would you ask me to talk about it? Well, why not? I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, I'm not a minister, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a counselor, anything like that. I believe I've lived long enough to have what would be considered a non-biased opinion. And I would like to share it with you. You know, some people can't do that. When you go for jury duty, if you've ever gone for jury duty, they ask you, are you able to look at information and facts and evidence to determine if a person should be either sentenced to life or charged for something, if for whatever reason, what am I getting here? You find out if you can you sit in on a jury case by determining whether or not you can be that person that's non-biased, because that's what it's about. And if you can do that for other people, you should be able to do it for yourself. It's hard to do though, you know, because we're spoiled. We have egos, you know, we kind of sort of want to have things our way, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, if you're 2 years old, you know, but you have to learn that. But when you become of the age of accountability or an adult, you have to realize that you can't have everything your way. You have to be okay with what is. And you have to be truthful. You have to be honest and transparent. But people are not that way. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I think when I get to heaven, I think one of the major questions I'm going to ask God is like, why is there evil? Why do people have to be nasty and mean? Nobody wants anybody to treat them badly. Nobody. Why would you walk up to me and hit me, like punch me or harm me? You wouldn't want me to do that. I know I have lots of scriptures, you know, from the Bible, but the all-time greatest scripture has to be this. And listen carefully when I say this. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I like to add, don't do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. We're all people, man. We all want the same thing. Do this. That's what you call inhaling. It's called taking a breath. Everybody wants that. I don't have any water, but if I had some water, I'd have a sip right now just to make a point. We all want to have some water. You know, we all get thirsty. We all want to eat. We all have family that we love, that we want protected. We all want a place to live, you know, maybe a car to drive if you can drive. Some people can't drive. That's another story. But we all want the same thing. What I don't understand is what gets into these people that want to take from you so that they can have, or harm you so that they can have. Where does that mindset come from? I don't get it. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I like to ask my guests this question. I'll ask myself the same question. Have you ever done anything or said anything? Or have you ever had anything done or said to you that you haven't told anybody and you probably won't tell anybody? Think about it for a minute. I'll ask it again. Have you ever done or said something that you will never talk about? Or have you ever had something done or said to you that you keep to yourself? I already know the answer to that, so don't worry about it. But I like to talk about it, and you'll be amazed at what comes up when you start getting on those little touchy subjects. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that happened to me this week before I get my guest on, and they are exciting things. First of all, I believe I have a new subscriber. I was in this particular restaurant last night, and I won't tell anybody because it may not necessarily be in line with what I'm supposed to be eating considering my training and all. But I was just stopping in there just to smell it. I really wasn't, you know, trying to get anything out of there. But anyway, I was in there and I met these two cool ladies that just had this energy. And I was like, are y'all from here? And they were like, well, yeah, kind of, but we're not originally from here. And they thought I was talking about how they look because they said something. I was like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying your energy is different. So we just started kicking it and just talking, and they were really cool. And, you know, we switched up information because I told them I have a live stream and sometimes I go out and play, and they're kind of, you know, hanging out in town this week. And I was like, listen, when I have a gig, you guys can come and bring your friends and, you know, have them bring their friends. And I think they are watching me tonight. So if you guys are, thank you so much. You really made my evening because I had no business in there, but I'm glad I went in there because I got to meet some cool people. Also, something else happened to me today. You know, I've been telling you about my book for a very, very long time. I was out of commission for a few months last year, and I took it upon myself to write. And I wrote for about 5.5 months. And after I got back, you know, I started to edit, and I've been kind of sitting on it because I've been talking to tons of publishers, and I just don't have the deal or, you know, the contract that I want yet. So I've just kind of been waiting. I'm not in a big hurry. Yes, I'd like to publish and get it out there, but I don't have to be in a hurry. Well, I got a call today from a publisher that we talked for a long time, and I think I may have found, you know, the company that's going to help me to publicize it. So you've been hearing me threatening you about, you know, my book that's going to be coming. Well, guess what? I got a lead today, and I'm going to be investigating that. So send me some good positive energy and wish me well on that. So there you go. That's all the good news I've got for right now. I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back, I'm going to go on with my guest. But before I do that, I want to talk about what we're going to be talking about, kind of, sort of. And I just want you to think about your life for a moment. When I asked that question about have you ever said or did anything, you know, we're not perfect. You know, there's this saying that goes like this: when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And sometimes we don't know better. And it's so easy to get your emotions involved when you're making decisions, especially as it, you know, relates to other people. But I want to say this before I take a break and then come back with my caller. You know, it's really cool to know that someone has wronged you in some way, and you have the strength inside of you to not hate them or to not want to see harm done to them, but have enough compassion inside of you to at least be forgiving. of the wrong that may have caused you. The perfect example was that of Jesus Christ himself. And he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Sometimes people know what they're doing and they'll still do it to you. But the bigger picture is this: if you can find a way to not hold on to the anger, the animosity, the hurt, there's a peace that comes over you and that frees you. You can be in bondage if you're behind bars, or if someone is binding you in some kind of way or threatening you, but I think it was Mandela who said, freedom is really in your mind. So before I get too far on that subject, I just want to say this. You're not going to always get, the best end of the stick, so to speak. Things are not going to always come your way. And people are going to do things based on, their past, their emotions, their history, their ego maybe. And it may not always work out in your favor. If you can find a way to be forgiving, good things will happen for you. And there's no peace like that, when you know that someone is bad, and has done something to you, and you can kind of forgive them and leave them alone. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to take a short break and then I'll be right back. Okay. So hold the spot you got. Oh, before I go, I just want to say hello to Christine, and I've got 5 other people that's hanging out with me. And if you're watching this now, thank you so much. If you're going to watch it later in the week, later in the month, or later in life, thank you. I really appreciate it. Again, if you'd like to reach out to me, TravisBridges2@AOL.com will get you in contact with me. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, don't move. I'll be right back.
You can run, but you can't hide. A type of court system designed to settle conflict is humane. The right to due process and a fair, speedy trial is also humane. Direct questioning and cross-examination is a legal intelligence at work. Having witnesses in the order of a judge, jury, spectators, and documentation for reference is order and intelligence at work. Lawyers study psychology, and psychologists study universal principles or law to 99.999% flaw-proof, solid evidence in reaching a legitimate and/or logical conclusion based on a reasonable expectation of emotionally stable individuals. Even the opportunity to appeal and a retrial is humane. Truth, facts, sincerity, and even certain types of remorse hardly ever need further questioning, as they represent themselves clearly based on universal principles and universal law. The natural ability and desire to avoid pain, discomfort, and harm is without question why most individuals are initially dishonest when confronted with conflict. The almost natural reaction or response to use diversion is a defense mechanism that can help save one from that harm and be the culprit of having oneself totally consumed by that same harm. Extreme diversity is necessary within humanity. It sets the tone for balance or justice, and even gives logic its primary reason for existence. Intelligence and communication always guarantee order when logic and universal principles are primary factors or common goals within humanity. Dominant personality traits and the inner desire to manipulate universal principles gives the God-devil concept the platform to lend itself to the extreme diversity concept. Truth is silent without a lie, and a lie or sound is only birthed when truth is contested. The essentials of a lie are not based on silence. Good and evil is to positive and negative, as prosperity and failure is to a lie and the truth. My point? There is an answer to every question, a solution to every problem, an understanding to all confusion, and a right to every wrong. There's even peace within any storm. The intelligence discovered within the ability, desire, patience, and time to reason based on universal principles and law is the foundation of order, peace, justice, and life itself. You can run, but you can't hide. Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.
Good evening and welcome to The Swimming Pool. It is SWIM, S-W-Y-M. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. Here's hoping you're having a wonderful Wednesday evening. I am your host, Travis Bridges, and this is what we do on Wednesday evening. We take to the airwaves via YouTube for now, and we talk about talking. What do you mean we talk about talking? Well, just that. I am convinced that communication and conversation is so critical when it comes to our peace. Oftentimes, if you hear about anything that happens either in the news, on TV, in someone's home, on a job, it has to do with a breakdown in communication, and I have become that guy who is just focusing on it. If there's any kind of problem and you trace back to where it started, I am convinced that it has to do with a breakdown in communication. Not just that, because someone can also understand something and then just not be accepting of it, just may not like it for whatever reason. But that's what I get into. It's what I talk about, and it's why I'm here. I do have a guest that I'm going to go to in just a few minutes, but I'm coming to you this evening with a heavy heart, and it just would not be right if I did not at least acknowledge the loss of a very true and dear friend of mine that I found out just recently transitioned. It's my brother, my friend, Anthony Dawsey. We go back to 1997. That's where I first met Anthony. My son was a toddler. At that time, I was a single dad, and we were going through, quite a bit of struggle. And he was one of quite a few people that reached out to us and that we received, and that he and his wife Juanita, they received us. And from about 1997, 98, we embraced as brothers, and we've been brothers, since. There's times when, as I said, I was struggling, and, quietly he would just let me know that, hey man, if you need anything, just let me know, and I got you. Somewhere in my heart back then, I trusted him, and he was there for me in many ways. I just don't have words. My heart is just in awe right now when I received that news, because we just went to the Heat game a couple of months ago. I don't go anywhere. Anybody that knows me, I'm a homebody. But I went out in the last few months with my brother Anthony. We went to a Heat game. We hung out. We had a great time. We also went to a concert to see one of my favorite saxophone players, David Sanborn. We hung out there. And there are times when I call my brother. It's just like my mom when she was, here with us. I used to call her, and just in my voice, she would just know what to say. And she would either pray for me or just say the right thing that I would need to get me through the next few moments or the next day or whatever. Of course, I don't have my mom, and I have many other people that have been support for me, just as I've been support for other people. But my brother Anthony is the brother that I never had in a brother in the way that he responded to me. There's nothing, I believe, in my heart that I could ask him for that he would not make available to me as a brother and as a friend. So Anthony, I love you, man. I'm gonna miss you, but you will continue to live in my heart. And Juanita, blessings to you. You already know if there's anything you ever need me for, all you have to do is think about my phone. And if I get a message from you, I will be there for you guys. Anthony, my brother, I love you. Rest in peace. And do me a favor, when you're up there in heaven, talk to God for me, okay? Tell him to look out for me, and keep looking out for me, rather, and to get some of these devils off of me, okay? All right. Just wanted to laugh a little bit to keep from crying. As I do know my brother would want me to continue on with what I'm doing. I got that news this morning. I had my few moments. I continued to go on about my day, and here I am even now up to this point, continuing on with my live stream. He is gone, not forgotten, and of course you will always be right here in my heart for as long as I'm here. With that being said, I do have a guest I'm going to go to, and we're going to talk. This is going to be a little different, and I'm going to get my guest on the phone, and then we're going to talk about how this is going to happen. So be a little patient with me. I like to get the phones ringing because I'm from the old school of radio, and I like the dial tone, and I guess it.
Hello.
Hey, you. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Not bad at all. Thank you so much for agreeing to join me on my live stream. I want to tell you a little bit about it before we get going. It's called SWIM. It is the acronym for Say What You Mean, SWYM. And saying what you mean is very important. Oftentimes we say what we feel, we say what we think, we say what we believe, and it's not always consistent with what's coming out of our mouth or what someone may be hearing if we're talking to one or more people. So I want you to know that that's what it's about. It's about bringing awareness to how we listen, how we hear, and making sure that what we're saying is lining up with what's actually coming out of our mouths, as well as whoever we're communicating with is getting what it is that we are actually trying to convey. You get that so far?
Yes.
Okay. So another thing about my live stream, we don't say names. We don't call locations. We don't do titles of any kind, because I really want us to focus on the message and not the messenger. So you can talk as much as you want. Unless someone recognizes your voice, they won't know it's you. And if they ask me it's you, I'll tell them I have no idea who it is, because the name, and then by chance, if we do say a name, I'll find a way to edit it, or a location. But I will let my audience know this about you and me. I've been knowing you since I was a little bitty boy. We go way back like Cadillac, and you were like a family to me. Your family was like family to mine. You still are. Your dad is still, a distant father to me. I love him. I respect him. Always have, always will. So I will say that about us. So at least my audience will know that I'm not talking to a complete stranger. I am talking to someone that's similar to family. And I hope you feel the same way about me and my family, because I know we all love you and your family.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So certainly I do feel that way.
So I was talking to my guest just before you got on, and I wanted to tell them about how our live stream came about. I randomly pick people and subjects and topics, and I talk about them, because it doesn't matter who I'm talking to or what the subject is. Communication is communication. So if you don't mind, you want to, why don't you talk a little bit and tell our guest how this interview came about, and then I'll put the cream on top of anything you miss. So go ahead. How did this happen?
Well, I guess this interview came about a post that a comment that I ran across on, and I posted it on my page, and you commented on it, and I guess we were opposites on our comments because according to, if I can recall the comment, it was when people do things to you and how you respond back. My response was basically to leave them alone. Your response was a little different from mine. So that's how our conversation came about.
Okay, that's pretty good. I guess I would tell that same thing or a version of that. But what I want to do right now is actually go to that comment and say what it was and kind of sort of, go through, what happened in our conversation.
Okay.
The comment is like this. I'm going to read it. I don't know if you have it, but I'm going to do the honors and read it. The post was like,
read it.
once you do me dirty, I may forgive you, but I will never treat you the same. You'll never get the same old me again. When I saw that, and then I looked and I saw it was you, I have a tendency of responding or reacting sometimes to certain people on certain topics. But when I read that and I thought it was you, I was like, this is the moment for me to, get involved. I won't go too hard on her, but I just want to say something about that. And my response was simple. It says, I'm just the opposite. Do you know what I mean when you just said to our guest, you said we had a different take on that? What is it that you think I meant when I said I'm just the opposite?
Well, you know what? Now that you read it over and that I heard it read aloud, then I may have some of the same comment because I'm not going to change me, but I changed an outsider and a family member. You know, so.
Okay, hold on a second. Just let me jump in. Hold on. Let me jump in on that. You said there's a difference between an outsider and a family member. Okay, clearly there's a difference.
Depends on the closeness of the family. If it's a sibling.
Okay, but let me ask you this. You said it's a difference. Let me ask you this, though, real quick. Are they both human beings? Are they both people?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Once we start to separate people from whether they're an outsider or, someone close to us, that's the beginning of that snowball that's hard to stop once it gets, going down the hill and growing. It's conveyed in your post. Pretty much, you were pretty much saying that, let me see exactly what it says again. You said, you'll never get the same old me, and I'll never treat you the same. So that's what you said. So what are you changing now? So you're saying hearing it out loud again?
I'll be the same person, and I'm not going to say I'll mistreat a person. I'm not going to mistreat you, but I'm not going to smile and grin like, and I don't know, because I'm in that position right now. So I guess it's even hard for me to say.
Okay, no, I'm hearing you. That's why, listen, I did not think that this would be an easy conversation. That's why you got picked out to get picked on today. So I'm in the same boat. So I want to ask you, tell me what it is that you think I meant when I said I see it the opposite. Tell me what you think I meant. Because we know what you meant. We know what you're thinking now that you've heard it. So tell me, when you heard my post, what did you think I meant when I said I'm just the opposite?
That you turn the other cheek and just keep going.
Okay, well, that's close enough. I'm not one of those big turning the other cheek kind of person. However, I have been known to let a lot of things go. But what came out to me was where you said, I'll never treat you the same, and you'll never get the same old me again. You just also said, I'll never trust you again. Do you mean that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, pretty much so. Because betrayal is very deep. And I guess to listen to the, to think about the whole post, you have to think about the person and the closeness of you when this is done. There's a difference in an outsider and a family member, so.
Okay, hold on a second. Just let me jump in. Hold on. Let me jump in on that. You said there's a difference between an outsider and a family member. Okay, clearly there's a difference.
Depends on the closeness of the family. If it's a sibling.
Okay, but let me ask you this. You said it's a difference. Let me ask you this, though, real quick. Are they both human beings? Are they both people?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Once we start to separate people from whether they're an outsider or, someone close to us, that's the beginning of that snowball that's hard to stop once it gets, going down the hill and growing. So, of course, I understand what you mean, and I'm not going to take it out of context. Of course, it's different when around those people that do things to you that are close to you. It feels different, but I want you to know something. Your response might just need to be the same, regardless of who it is, because we've got to see people for who they are, and they are humans just like us. Have you ever made a mistake? Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever done someone wrong? Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever wanted or needed or asked for forgiveness? Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever given someone a reason to not trust you, but they trusted you and you let them down? Yes or no?
Ask that question again.
Have you ever given someone a reason to not trust you, and or you let someone down based on trust? Yes or no?
I must say possibly. I haven't given anybody a reason, but I may have unintentionally.
Okay,
Not unintentionally.
that still goes as the same. If I unintentionally
Okay.
put some strychnine in your coffee, you're still gone. So the answer to
Yeah.
that question would be yes, you've probably had that effect on somebody. So
Yeah.
would you not want someone to trust you again if there was a misunderstanding or if you just made a mistake? You said you made mistakes before. Would you not want someone to
Yeah.
give you another or second or maybe even a third chance? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the point I'm making. You just said, I'll never trust you again. And you will never get the same old me.
But you know what? If there's a difference in intentional. When you intentionally do things to cause that, to me, it's a difference. When it's intentionally done,
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
opposed to unintentional.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. And I just want to add on to that. I know what you're saying, and I don't want to take what you're saying out of context. I just want to add to what you're saying. You're saying unintentional. Maybe what you mean is repeatedly, because we can do something unintentional and cause someone not to trust us, or we hurt someone for whatever reason. And, then of course we want forgiveness, or we want to forgive someone. Even if they do something else again unintentionally, we've got to have, enough grace and mercy for other people, even when they're wrong. Of course. Now, what I think you may be saying is that if someone repeatedly continues to betray you and treat you bad, that may be a different story, because people make mistakes. People do wrong. People actually do something intentionally, where they may have, maybe remorse later, and then, they may want to be forgiven for what they may have done whenever they were upset, angry, or mad, or just not in their right mind, because it happens. So are you saying that if someone does something intentionally, and then they want forgiveness for it, you wouldn't give it to it? Or are you saying if they continuously do it to you, then maybe you would not, open yourself up to that?
Well, no, forgiveness, yeah. But just being that same old person in your face all the time, no. I'm not open for that, because, I know that the trust level is not there, because it's a continuous thing. And when you are certain, and especially at my age, it's not like I'm a teenager. I'm a senior citizen, and I deal mostly with senior citizens that know right and wrong. So to continuous is different for me. I'm not going. I'm not going to mistreat them. No, but my same response, because the human flesh, my human flesh, is very leery of that person. And I've had that to happen to me. But I mean, I speak, I do, and even at one point when I tried, but that person's response was not, well, I'm mad with you, you mad, but I wasn't, so to me it's a little different. Age brings about difference, and when you're supposed to know better and you know the person, then should make it different.
Okay. Now, I'm going to read my response, or our response. I said to you, I'm just the opposite. And you said, I'm not there yet, as you can see. I'm going to read to my audience exactly what I said to you. And then I want you to tell me what you think about what I said to you. It says, you are very much so there. It's just that your ego and self-gratification are louder than the still soft voice that represents you and your beauty. Either time or more growth experiences will soften that hardened callus within your choice for freedom. What did you think of what I said to you? Because I've got a bad habit of saying deep stuff, and it's okay if someone doesn't get it.
You know what? That's true. because I do feel in bondage. Even
Right. Okay. Hold on a second. Do you feel bondage because of how you do you?
Heartbroken.
Hold on a second. Do you feel bondage because of how you feel?
Yes, because it's somebody that I deeply love that has done something to me. Deeply, deeply love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so from knowing me and I've always been the peacemaker, the doormat. But this was one time that I felt like, okay, you took the dirt a little bit too far, you know. And yes, the love that I have for that person, it's like a soulmate, a person being in love. I have always been a person in love with my family. In love with my family. You know, that is, besides God, that is my most prized winning possession, is my parents and my siblings. You know, and when it hit that close to home, yes, I feel like I'm in bondage because I'm brokenhearted. And like I said, I have been able to swallow the pill, but it is slowly digesting. And that's what I mean when I said, I hope I can get there. Because this has not been the very easiest pill to swallow. And what I have said to folks, because I've not had death of parents or siblings, I don't know what it feels like. But this is one of the most painful pains I've ever felt in my life.
Okay.
You know,
I want to jump in on that. I want to jump in on that note. I hear you. I hear your pain. I feel it. I could feel it coming through the post. And that's why I said it's like, hey, I go too far back with her for me to at least not say something. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to heal also. Because, you know, we're supposed to be there for each other. So I want you to know that I can tell that you're disturbed. I can feel that pain inside of you. But this is what I was hoping to bring attention to when I responded to you. Even as strong as this pain is, your deliverance from this pain will be just as freeing, you know, once you decide to deliver yourself. Because guess what? You can't do anything to the person that may have betrayed you. And it's okay.
No.
That's, you know, we contrast comes, you know, to show us ourselves. You know, these things come to make us strong. And I heard what you said. Those words that came out of your spirit, you know, that you agreed with on that post, you know, was based on hurt. But you can't make decisions based on hurt. I know you know this, and I'm not trying to school you. I'm not trying to tower over you.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing attention to something to you. You have got to really be okay with remaining who you are, even to that same person again. Because guess what? It's not vengeance is not ours. If you have that attitude towards them, you're taking over a responsibility that's not even yours. Of course, when people do us wrong, it hurts. It makes us angry. The first thing we want to do is get revenge. But that is the time we need to be more forgiving. And I'm just going to say this in speaking for myself. When you are able to forgive and leave that alone, you are not vexed. You are not in bondage. No one can take that from you. What you said was you'll never get the same old me again. That kind of made me sad because guess what? You are still you. You just allowed that person and or that situation to change you. And that's not who you are. I searched something on that was, I also read today. It says, when Jesus hung out with, you know, robbers and thieves, he didn't change. They changed.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't change. So what has happened?
And that's
What has happened is that situation has changed you. But I'm here to just not to correct you or tell you you're wrong in any kind of way, but just point to another option that you can take to free yourself from that bondage that you're even admitting that, you know, you have. you have got to really let that go. And as a matter of fact, whoever this person is or whatever that situation is, you might even want to go and embrace them, to let them know that, hey, listen, I forgive you, and I don't want this, between us. You can still be nice to them, but that does not mean be a fool. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying be a fool, but don't let your heart be heavy based on an incident or what a person may have done to you, because only you suffer. And I'm taking that for myself. Yeah. That's not coming from me. Right is right with or without me. So I don't want to say I'm right or even what I'm saying is right. It's just something that you've got to agree in your spirit that, okay, there's a point that he's bringing attention to. So I'm just going to say this to you for the sake of time and moving on. I'm hoping that you are able to take some deep breaths, go into a state of meditation if you have to, go pray, do what you have to do, but relieve yourself of that bondage that you may be feeling so that you can be free of that. Because guess what? Tomorrow, somebody's still going to be vexed in their spirit, and they're going to do something that we can't allow to change us. So with that being said, I'm not going to hold you unless you have something, more to say, but rethink that. And you better not dare take that post down, but maybe change your thoughts about it, because you do owe it to people to love them. You don't have to like them, because if you don't like somebody, that means you don't like yourself. And if you love yourself, then it's important that we love other people. We don't have to give them opportunities to hurt us, but holding that in your heart will create something inside of you that will be hard to get rid of and could be to your own detriment. So I've said my piece. I want you to know, as I said when we started, we go way back. I have always loved you. I've always respected you. Your family has always been A1. And even to this day, I don't have to see you a lot. Occasionally, I'll see your post, or some of my family members. Before my mom transitioned, she used to talk about you. You were definitely one of her closest people. She cared about you. And I just know when I saw that this morning, it's like, I'm going to call her. I'm going to get in her face, just like I would want you to get in my face.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you now, if you better, when I called you, I said, I'm mad at you.
I know.
I wasn't really mad at you. I was just kind of like upset. You kind of let that get to you to that point. So what are your thoughts now in closing? I'm going to give you the last word.
I appreciate the conversation. I still say, and I know that I'm the only one hurting. I realize that more. I realized that even from the beginning. That it's just me. I'm the one that's suffering. I'm the one hurting. I am working, like I told you, it has been I swallowed the pill, but it's going down slowly. Because in a million years, I wouldn't have never thought that this betrayal from this particular would have happened.
Okay.
Never would have thought.
But it's okay. Now
like I said, it's a work in progress and in process, but I still haven't gotten there yet. I respect, and I know what I need to do. I know I'm in bondage, but it still doesn't stop the human feeling. That's what I can say. I'm working on it, and pray for me that I get through this, because of my love for the people that is involved. It's so deep. So deep. I mean, very deep. So just pray for me.
Okay.
Because I'm just not there yet. And I'm not where I was. Because
it's okay. Well,
I probably could have hurt.
Well, I want to ask you a question that I ask all of my guests. These are yes or no questions. Is there an answer to every question, yes or no?
Yes.
Is there a solution to every problem, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Well, whatever you need to get through, just know that there's an answer and there's a destination for you. So I'm just going to believe with you that you're going to reach that place, and it won't be a long time from now. Hopefully within the next hour you will say, okay, it didn't mean that much anyway. Because, you know, time has a way of making you look back at some stuff and it's like, why did I even stress myself over it? Okay, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Listen, thank you again for allowing me to get in your face.
You.
If you ever need to get in my face, you go ahead right on, because I don't mind being checked.
I know that's right.
Right, because that's we've got to hold each other accountable. No, I love you more, and thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye. Well, there you have it. Another guest on Swim. It's Say What You Mean. That is a family friend from way back. I love her so dearly. And I could tell based on, you know, what she posted, maybe it was about her. I didn't know. But, you know, when we're strong, we're supposed to bear the infirmities of the weak. Not that she was weak, but I had to check in on her because I felt something, you know, in my spirit that says, okay, she might need, you know, a word. And the nerve of me, because sometimes I need that same encouragement myself. So I hope you got something out of that. I believe she did. I know for certain I did. I get the opportunity to point at something. I don't ever want to be right, because I say it all the time. Right is right without me. You know, I just happen to agree with something that, you know, actually makes sense according to a reasonable expectation. So with that being said, thank you again for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank my guest and everybody watching. By the way, if you like and subscribe, I really would appreciate it. Share it, you know, that helps me. I look forward to the day that I have 1,000 subscribers when I can go live from my phone, because as of now I have to be hunkered down in the Hollywood home studio, and I keep saying I'm going to come back with my saxophone. Guess what? I am. I don't know when, but it's going to be very soon. As you notice, I'm doing something different with my studio all the time. I'm using a lapel mic, so I don't have this mic in front of me. And I don't know what it's going to sound like, but I'm going to be able to tweak it a little bit as we go along. But again, with that being said, thank you. Have a great rest of the week. Take good care of yourself. Find someone you need to say, I love you to. Don't just say it, and show it. I know it's hard out here when we get treated wrongly, when we get accused of things, when people betray us. It's very difficult to not want to get back at them. And sometimes we may have to, but let that be the extreme last resort, okay? Love is how we win all the time. Hating someone for what they do only harms you. Okay? Have a good night. I love you. Take care.
SWYM. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know, sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone. But you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. For example, take me, standing right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep on searching. Keep it on the cool side. Keep on